Hello class, I'm Sister Cameron, and my lesson, or my topic today is on formative and summative assessments. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to watch two videos, and I want you to observe some of the things that you learn in these videos, and then I'm going to ask you questions afterwards. So let's, yeah. Okay, so we learned from that video that formative assessments is something that you use continuously through like the lesson that when you're teaching the students. And we learned that summative assessments you use at the end so you can see the knowledge that you have taught the students. Can I have one example of formative assessment? Anybody?
Asking questions.
Asking questions. Okay. Anything else? So it could be like
And turning to your partner and discussing what was.
think, pair, share.
Yeah.
So you can also go around to your students and continuously assist them and make sure that they have the understanding before they take the summative assessment. So what exactly is a summative assessment? What is an example of that?
You could use, like, for example, an exit note or something like that, and say one thing that they found interesting or one thing that they learned that day, and have them get it to the teacher before they leave.
Okay, so an exit slip is like what we use at the end of the lesson. Another common one would be just standardized test. Adds up to like an entire unit so you can see that your child or your students should be up to this level. We're going to watch another video, and I want you to look for specific things that don't go so well when you're using these tests. It's kind of silly, but you'll get the point. can be continuously testing your students and like getting a better understanding of where their knowledge is at in your lesson, so that they don't feel this scared when it comes to like an actual summative test. Could you see from this video maybe some reasons that would lead to your students feeling like that at a summative test for things that you didn't do in a formative test?
What do you mean, like it's more stressful? Like, what emotion it?
So, what would lead to like your students not knowing how to do a summative test at the end of the lesson, or at the end of the semester?
Maybe you hadn't been doing formative assessments throughout.
So if they,
Like formative assessments, and like we're giving them things to practice on, like study guides. And I mean, it's their job to study, but it's also your job to help them prepare or give them the materials that they need to study. So
I think
those
it's
both things.
I think it's important also to keep like your lessons and what you're teaching the students aligned with the formative assessments also. Because if you're just giving them maybe just busy work or just other things that aren't going to prepare them for this test, then it might seem kind of nonsense to them and not be so willing to learn. Okay. Next. So the two objectives that I have for my topic is objectives. Can I have two people read these for me, please, when I put them up? Sorry if you can see that.
Leaders can determine the difference between summative and formative tests.
Okay. And the next one?
Learners can identify when to use formative and summative testing.
Okay, so while this lesson is going on, I showed those two videos so that we could also see like the differences between summative and formative testing, and then mainly the usage of why we use it and when to use summative and formative testing. Okay. So formative is for a better idea of formative and summative assessments, rather than just having it in maybe like testing mind. This picture says, while you're cooking, it says when the chef tastes the food, and before it goes out to the students or the customers, or when the guests taste the soup is like the final product and the final what should be tasted or what should be tested. Yeah. Okay. Does anyone have any other metaphors or just any other ideas that we could relate to formative or summative testing? Like a before and after? Another one could be preparing for your driver's test. You're practicing in the car and you have like reassurance or just feedback from whoever's teaching you how to drive a car as the formative assessment. And the summative assessment would be when you're actually taking the test and you're driving a car. So then that's like that final outcome, and you're acknowledging what has been taught throughout your time of teaching the students. Any other comparatives?
Like, it's just really to give an example about the formative. So I think like for international students, and if they want to study abroad, so they need to like take the IELTS test or the TOEFL test. Yeah. So and then after they sign up to register to take the test, they need to take a series of like the practice or the classes that they want to enhance their English and in order to pass the test, so that they need to like to put more effort on the test. And for the summative assessment is that when they like the day that they need to take the test, then it can evaluate their scores
What they've
by
learned.
so by what they learned and to show the score.
Yeah.
I don't know whether this is.
No, that's great. Thank you for your comments. Yeah, that's a good way to put it in perspective of yourself, and makes it easier to understand when you can like relate it to yourself. That's why I kind of like the cooking, because I like to eat. So if I just imagined tasting the food and seeing if it tastes right, you can check up with your students, see if they're understanding, and then your final product is obviously what you want to be remembered. And yeah. Okay. So I'm going to split you guys into 2 groups. We can have 2 in one group and 3 in another. I'm going to number you off, and then we're going to, one group is going to make a poster of formative assessments, and you can add examples and just basic things of what we've learned through this, and then one group is going to have summative assessments. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So the ones will have formative assessment, and the 2s will have summative assessment. And then as I'll give you guys some time to work on it, and then we'll present it to each other. Okay. So the ones over here. And again, I just want to see just examples and the definitions of, you guys get formative and summative. Okay, so just pictures, examples, anything that will help you remember and like their definitions.
Good analogy.
Thanks. Because like, when you check off, when you do something along the way, you check this off, decides to like checking the idea. That's what in my head. I imagine formative checklist. Because then it leads you up to what where you're at now and you accomplish that.
It's like, what that reminds me of is like like the school pilots go and fly the picture. And so like, you know, you have to make sure everything is there so that it can perform the way that it needs to. So you can do that.
You want to draw it?
So don't limit yourself to anything. You can draw pictures, you can draw maybe an organizer, graphic organizer,
So we need to draw something.
or just examples. It doesn't have to be pictures, just whatever.
So just draw should we draw the blue highlights in the front? Or is it like
Let's see.
kind of like what we're saying
Should we put formative first?
maybe I'll draw it in the clouds.
Yeah,
Draw clouds.
It's like- like claw letters.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll draw the letters.
I'll draw. Okay.
So we'll have about 5 minutes,
Okay.
and then we'll present. So just so
You
you
gonna draw it down there?
no rush.
Okay. Some birds.
Maybe parents draw
I like
a lot of books, and then there's a student just sit, there's a desk and a lot of
Okay,
the
go for it.
papers.
Go for it, look at it, test. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I will destroy this paper.
Paper?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just.
I think maybe we can use pencils. It's not destroy. I will destroy it.
Okay.
It's gonna be a very big desk.
You guys are doing a great job coloring.
Thank you.
And participating. Thank you.
You're welcome, teacher.
Pretend this is a desk. I cannot draw
Hey,
right
that's a
away.
great desk. Really brings out its shape. Nice use of color. That's better. Okay, we have about 2 more minutes before we start presenting.
Mommy. Awesome. Maybe it's like a cloud plane, really.
Yeah, there you go. Alright. Yeah, you guys are all so creative.
Thank you.
Specific feedback. Also write how to. I don't know. I just like to draw the test.
Yeah, it's good. Well, it's good to me. I think our teacher approves.
Yes. Great job. This for pilots.
How to write how to draw the shapes. Or just a desk, not shapes, just.
Okay, let's start to wrap up. We have about 30 more seconds. Put in your last bit of drawings. Whatever you
That's
want.
good. Looks great.
I didn't know how to draw. Oh, that's good.
The eye is so big.
Right, it's all that here. Light
Give
lines
it
of
room.
candles.
Samoa and air.
Village.
Sometimes it's very absolutely.
I like that you guys are communicating with each other and having fun.
Poster. Test poster. That's it.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Or we already did wrap it up. We're done. We're gonna present now.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I will have the youngest person in the class their group will present.
22.
19.
Oh, okay. We're gonna Okay. Cool. So,
Just ignore the picture.
you did a good job. Let's clean the picture first.
Okay. So for the summative assessment is focused on the end, kind of like to evaluate the students, like something like that. So the picture is talk about after one semester's study, and then we need to take like kind of like final exam. And this just the one part of the exam just to focus on the writing test.
Okay.
So that this one is the paper is for the writing, and then you have some instructions, and then just look, and then this answer sheet that you're gonna to answer, to write down the answer that you want to describe for the writing. This is the ask and then this the
Thank you.
It's big.
I like that you guys brought up about it was just specifically a writing summative test, right?
Yeah.
Summative, yes. Because they're not always like a combined test of like maybe like the practices that we're working with elementary students. So usually it is just like a math or social studies or science. So thank you for bringing that up. You guys, your turn.
Okay. So, formative assessment. We said that it's like a checklist for a pilot to make sure everything is okay in the plane. Make sure that the wings are okay, that there's enough jet fluid or whatever. And that's necessary to make sure that the plane is prepared, the plane is ready to take off. And it's the same way with the students, that if they have the formative assessment, if the teacher makes sure that they have everything that they need to succeed on the summative assessment, they'll be able to take off and fly.
Thank you. Okay. So, do we have any questions about either topic? Formative, we learned that it's continuously learned throughout a lesson or a unit, and summative, we've learned that it's what you've taken after you've learned it. Is there any need for clarifications or more examples we could go over? Anybody have any thoughts that they want to mention that came out in their mind? Nothing? Okay. Well, that's my lesson.